Our first connections with FOP families or the FOP community was Jeannie Pieper. Jeannie was my first phone call. And I remember saying, what do we need? What do we need to do? And there was a symposium happening in 1995. It was a gathering of families and some doctors, very small. I heard them talking about some research, and I realized funding research was critical if we were going to get anywhere. So I dove in, and I dove in hard. This garage sale is labeled Children Helping Children. Look at all those children that gave up their stuff. I dove in because I was so scared that the only way I could barrel out on a daily basis out of the dark was to take action and try to find answers, make sense, figure it out.
At that point in time, our hope was really on Dr. Kaplan. And honestly, when we went back to visit him and we asked what we could do, and he said, you can fundraise, we're like, okay. I mean, we can't do anything else, but this is something we can do. And by doing that, that is what gave us hope.
I was like, okay, I want 10 million people to know about Whitney, and let's try to raise $10 million or whatever we can do. And all the money we raised went to Dr. Kaplan and his team of angels.
The amazing families that funded the research, the early research in FOP, these were all families of children who had FOP. They joined our mission and they channeled their grief into finding the cause of FOP. And by doing so, we formed a team.
Without their investment, there would have been nothing done. Nothing would have happened with respect to FOP research, our understanding of FOP.
We were going to challenge this, we were going to make it, we were going to raise money. How? We didn't know how, but we were going to do it. Everybody had great ideas, and we focused on these kids and that cure. This was going to be cured in our lifetime. That was our motto.
We applauded anybody doing anything. We really did. I ran garage sales. We ran 2, 3, 4, 6 events a year.
$10,074.25.
We raised money every way we could.
Oh gosh, here it is. Celebrity boxing match. First fundraiser, 2002. I knew fundraising was needed and I knew how to do it for other causes. I just didn't know how I was going to do it for a rare disease. So many other people came to us and said, we want to do this for you. Dinner to aid Weldon FOP Research Fund. Officials to brave boxer for Westfield benefit, front page. I said to my husband, oh my God, what is this? A boxing match. It was Jerry Clooney, champion boxer, and he boxed with politicians in Westfield, New Jersey. And it was sold out. It was crazy.
One of the very important and generous donors to FOP research was Mrs. Diane Weiss. Mrs. Weiss had no connection whatsoever to FOP. I took care of her mother, who had osteoporosis. After she passed away many years later, Diane went to the University of Pennsylvania and she said, I would like to fund a chair for FOP research for Dr. Kaplan and his team. Without that funding, I don't think we would have been able to continue on our journey as long as we did.
We had never done fundraisers before. Didn't know how to do a fundraiser, but you just dive in and you ask. And so that's what we did. We had our first fundraiser, a silent live auction. Dr. Kaplan came out and spoke, and it was a wonderful event. But I just remember thinking, could we raise just $30,000? Could we just do that? I would be so excited. And at the end of the evening, one of the girls who was running the credit card machine, she's like, oh my gosh, we've raised $75,000. I was like, oh my God. And that was like, oh, okay, we're doing this again.
I was always impressed with this young family from California, Jen and Bob Snow with their beautiful daughter, Stephanie.
I remember the first time that Jen and Bob brought Stephanie to Philadelphia, and afterwards Bob said they're going to do fundraisers in Santa Maria, and they're going to have barbecues. And I thought, oh, I grew up in New Jersey. Barbecues are, little barbecues, and you put briquettes in them, and you grill hamburgers and hot dogs. And Bob said, no, this is a little bigger than that. So I was absolutely amazed the first time I went to one of their barbecues. There were like 15 or 20 barbecue pits there. Grilled hundreds of chickens, and people drove their cars through to pick up lunches. And it was sort of an assembly line. And I was the bean boy. I was the bean boy at many of these barbecues.
It was the families that took that fear and the passion for a treatment and put it into action that ran an event year after year after year continuously that really made a difference.
Overall, we probably did 12 fundraisers and raised over $1 million through those 12 fundraisers.
We all felt as one collective team getting it done.
I just felt like we were warriors. We all did what we had to do.